Hi, team. This is George. Welcome to week one, and I am here to lead you on an investigative path to gather some fantastic project management tools to complement the ID tools that you have. Project management is probably one of the most important skills that we have within the ID area. So here's how we're going to do it. First, we're going to go in and we're going to introduce ourselves to everyone. We're going to have a discussion, and then at the end of the week, really the beginning of week two, so Monday, 8 a.m. of week two, you're going to show everybody a graphic. You're going to turn in a graphic that you made that shows your thoughts, your perspective on the connection between project management and instructional design. This is going to be a lot of fun to do that. There's a lot of different resources that we can use to create graphics. We'll go over that in just a second. So the first one is introductions. Introductions are very important because we're going to be working as groups together, and we're also a team together, so it's important that we get to know each other a little bit so we're comfortable, kind of break down that transactional distance that we like to call with online education. The next step is we're going to have a discussion, and our discussion is going to be in two parts. It's going to be part one is about not a fail this big, but some of the struggles that you may have had in a project. And part two is going to be the tools you're going to read your peers and your fellow classmates struggles that they had, and you're going to suggest tools that may have been able to help with it. So we then have tools as we move forward. So throughout this whole time, it's my hope that you're grabbing these tools and putting them in your ID toolbox. And project management is one of those tools. So we're also going to be looking at specific project management and ID tools as well. From my perspective, one of the biggest reasons why things fail is because of poor management, poor project management. We've seen it time and time again. My biggest fail was when we were designing a course. It was actually a face-to-face course, and it was a pretty large course. And I failed to, and it was on my shoulders, I failed to manage the project correctly right up front. And what I mean by that is listening to the SMEs and all of the stakeholders within there on what the expectations were. So failing to failing to hear expectations, record those expectations was what happened. And the reason why I consider that a project management fail is because that's step one of project management. Understand what the requirements are. And that was one of my big fails. So we all had them. And then the fun part is going to be we're going to create a graphic. And you're going to create a graphic that shows your perspective, your perception of how the ID field and the project management field connect. So we want to be able to see what your thoughts are about that. Now, what's interesting, when you're building these, you may want to start analog. You may not want to start going directly digital for your designing because there's a strange phenomenon that happens. I actually use sticky notes with ideas and place them all over and move things around and then come up with ideas. Because when we're in our digital space, a lot of the software we use, PowerPoint, Keynote, whatever it may be, it actually constrains our creativity, and that's not what we want to do. We want to come up with some neat ideas. So I come up with the ideas first and then bring it into the digital space. So feel free to do that. Feel free to jump on and just start with one of the amazing tools online as well. Just know that it's a psychological factor because of our schema, and our schema is how we see the world, is all of our past experiences and how we see the world. That shapes our creativity. And when we go directly into a tool, an electronic tool, that pares our creativity down because it's trying to get us to conform to a certain space. And the reason why I say that is because it can be kind of interesting. So here's a choice. Walk with me here for a minute. Just walk with me. Choose a number between 1 and 5. Multiply that number by 9. When you have that answer, if it's a 1-digit number, simply remember that single digit. If it's 2 digits, add both of the digits together, and that's your single number. Subtract 5 from the number. This is your single number. So you chose a number between 1 through 5, multiplied it by 9. If you had 2 digits, you added them together, and then you subtracted 5 from that number. And this is your final number. Now, we're going to turn that number into a letter. So if your number's 1, your letter's A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, D, 5, E, 6, F. So transfer your number into a letter. Pick a country that starts with that letter. Take the last letter of your country and think of an animal that begins with that letter. Using the last letter of the animal you chose, think of a color. Now, how many of you came up with an orange kangaroo from Denmark? That's what I'm saying. Electronics and things, they tend to focus our question. They tend to steer our questions in certain directions, just like our schema did. Because I would imagine quite a few of you thought of an orange kangaroo from Denmark. Some people, the only other choice, I believe, was Dominican Republic. So by limiting our choices, we limit our creativity. And that's a perfect example of that. And did you notice also the color that I was using for everything, all the things when they were done? Orange. Why was that? That's also part of our schema because we're used to seeing what we see. So try one time, just not designing directly in the digital space if you like. Try to go analog and then move into the digital space. But most of all, enjoy your time here. This is our first week, so have some fun with it. Have fun with it all the way through. And grab some tools along the way, so don't be afraid to make some mistakes because I'll make them. Probably already have made them first, but this is a great spot to make some mistakes. Try some things, especially designing that graphic. Go for it. So enjoy the day.